exist outside the Earth. That's right, in space. Space has a reading of minus 273 degrees Celsius, which is the frozen state because it is too cold for the molecules to move, so they stop. What makes things move since space is so cold are the stars, like our star, the sun. The sun radiates energy that makes things move, like the planets that orbit around it. What happens when cold meets heat? You get steam. What's the molecular code for steam? H2O, or water. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. If there's water on Earth, there is in space and everything that's of space. The same elements here are out there. If God is omnipresent or everything, that means the way we've been programmed to perceive Him as human actually limits what God is. Think, if animals or insects pray to a God, do you really think He looks like the lily white body boy we've grown to accept? This is one reason heads want to classify our ancestors of the Nile Valley in Kemet or Egypt as people who worship many gods. This is entirely wrong, for it was Akhenaten who introduced monotheism, or the belief in one God. Because we've been plagued with tricked out versions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, which by the way, didn't even exist during nor before the Nile Valley, we base this perception of God on what we're used to seeing and not what we haven't seen. Think, God is much bigger than our earthly perceptions. What makes up God? Everything on earth is in space. The Hermetic principles our ancestors lived by included the principle correspondence, which also simply means as above, so below. Or in other words, if you wanted to understand the unknown, study the known, because everything is a microcosm of the macrocosm, or a smaller part of the whole. Author Wayne Chandler goes into deep detail in his book, Ancient Future. For example, when you look at the skin on your hand, you don't realize there are billions, probably trillions of moving activity going on that your naked eye cannot see. Just because we can't see it, or even feel it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's been estimated some 6 trillion things are going on at any moment in your body. If you were to get a high-powered telescope and focus on your hand, the deeper you get, you'll be able to see moving objects with legs and everything. Just as if you were to look at a plant's soil, you'd see crawling life forms living their lives on and around the plant. So is the same with living organisms that crawl on us. These things help protect and maintain our physical. Hard to believe and even more to perceive, but it's true. See, to these crawling life forms, our body is their earth, just as macrocosmically we walk, live, and reside on this planet. Look at the wrinkles and crevices in your hand. Since the life forms too finite to see with our eyes, these crevices are valleys, most likely as big as the Grand Canyon. This makes this perception of what we are much bigger than the illusionary parameters the European-based Western society wants us to see. At physical birth, coming out of the womb and probably our first years, we are aware of this. Once the reprogramming system begins, or as Dead Prez put it, they schools, where they separate science from spirituality, many of us become incarcerated behind the transparent prison bars of trained thought. We got to realize that it's in school and church where we're taught that God isn't within but outside ourselves, up there somewhere. But in every lie, there is truth. See, they separate science from spirituality, yet studying chemistry, whose root word is chem, or kim, as in kemet or kemet, meaning black, and history, meaning the study of. Hence, chemistry is the study of blackness, or you, African. So this brings me back to the conversation I was having with my peeps. What does God look like? What does logic tell you? To me, what God, or what I like to call the Force, looks like does not matter, because I feel I cannot picture something that is the macrocosm. However, because many of us still feel the need to have a picture of God, my choice would definitely not be what we've seen in the picture Bibles or stained glass windows at the cathedral. Again, if God or the Force is omnipotent, logic would tell me that if I wanted to picture it, I'd have to include basically everything. The only thing I believe that comes close to everything would be the periodic table. Look at it. It entails just about every known element found here on Earth. But these same elements can be found in space. Think about it. I wonder if we'll get heads to exchange their Jesus piece for a periodic piece. I doubt it. Why don't we know these things? Why aren't we taught this in school? Because Whitey can't have you free thinking. If you begin to think on your own intuitively or from within, where all the knowledge you need to know about yourself resides, you'd soon realize you don't need them and their diplomas or degrees. You don't need their religion, and you don't need their God to be who you are. A melanated African whose ancestors developed the very thing Whitey has the audacity to charge you for. Knowledge yourself.